World War II discussions often focus on heavy tanks, massive warships, and powerful aircraft, while smaller yet vital machines are often overlooked. Light tanks may not have the brute strength of giants like the T-34, but they played a crucial role in mobility, reconnaissance, and rapid assaults. These fast and agile vehicles help shape early victories, infantry support, and exploit breakthroughs across multiple fronts. In this list, we will explore the top 10 most powerful light tanks of World War II. Number 10. The Panzer II. This was an early war German light tank developed to bridge the gap before more advanced designs entered service. It was armed with 20mm KWK 30 autocannon along with a coaxial machine gun, which made it effective against infantry and light armored vehicles. While weighing around 8 to 9 tons, it was easy to transport and deploy across Europe during rapid offensives, and with a top speed of about 40 km per hour, it had excellent mobility for reconnaissance missions. Although its armor ranged from 5 to 15 mm, which limited its survivability in later battles, yet it played a crucial role in early campaigns such as Poland and France, where it supported infantry and helped execute blitzkrieg tactics. At number 9, the Type 98 Kenny. This was a Japanese light tank developed to improve upon earlier designs with better mobility and protection. It was equipped with a 37mm gun and machine guns, which gave it modest firepower for infantry support. While weighing about 7.2 tons, it remained lightweight and agile in difficult terrain, and with a speed of around 50 km per hour, it was one of the faster tanks in the Japanese arsenal. Although its armor was still relatively thin at around 16mm, which limited its effectiveness against stronger enemies, yet it was used in Pacific theater where mobility was more important than heavy armor. At number 8, the BT-7, which was a Soviet light tank designed for high-speed warfare as part of the fast tank series, and it was armed with a 45mm gun, which was quite powerful for a light tank of its time. While weighing around 13 to 14 tons, it balanced mobility and firepower effectively. And with a top speed of up to 70 km per hour on roads, it was one of the fastest tanks of World War II. Although its armor was thin at 10 to 20mm, making it vulnerable to enemy fire, yet it played a major role in early Soviet operations, including battles against Japan and during the initial phases of Operation Barbarossa, where its speed allowed rapid maneuvers and flanking attacks, and despite heavy losses, it influenced later Soviet tanks. At number 7, the T-70. The T-70 was a Soviet light tank developed to replace older models with improved armor and reliability, and it was armed with a 45mm gun, which allowed it to engage enemy light and some medium tanks effectively. While weighing about 9 to 10 tons, it remained relatively light, but better protected than many counterparts. And with a speed of around 45 km per hour, it had good mobility on the battlefield. It was widely used on the Eastern Front in infantry support and reconnaissance roles, where its improved armor of up to 60mm gave it better survivability, and it contributed significantly to Soviet armored forces during critical battles, and it eventually served as the basis for the Su-76 self-propelled gun. Number 6, the Type 5 Keiho. This was one of Japan's most advanced light tanks developed late in the war to counter more heavily armed Allied vehicles, and it was equipped with a more powerful 47mm gun, which improved its tank's capability. While weighing around 10 tons, it remained relatively light but more robust than earlier Japanese designs. And with a speed of about 50 km per hour, it maintained good mobility for rapid operations. Although its armor was still limited compared to Allied tanks, it was an improvement over previous models. Yet it was designed mainly for defensive operations as Japan shifted strategy late in the war. Number 5, the Valentine tank. This was a British infantry tank, armed initially with a 2-pounder gun and later upgraded to a 6-pounder, which improved its firepower. While weighing around 16 to 18 tons, it was heavier than typical light tanks, but still highly maneuverable, and with a speed of about 24 km per hour, it was slower but reliable in combat conditions. Although its early versions lacked high explosive shells, its strong armor of up to 65mm made it very durable, yet it was widely used in North Africa and by Soviet forces through Land-Lease, where it proved dependable and easy to maintain. And it played a major role in infantry support and defensive operations, and it became one of the most produced British tanks of World War II. At number 4, the T-50. This was an advanced Soviet light tank designed to replace older models and better armor and mobility. And it was armed with a 45mm gun, which provided solid firepower for its class. While weighing around 13 to 14 tons, it combined protection and agility effectively. And with a speed of about 60 km per hour, it was highly mobile across various terrains. Although its complex design made it difficult to mass-produce during wartime conditions, yet it featured sloped armor up to 45mm, which improved its survivability significantly, and it was intended to become the standard Soviet light tank, but was produced in limited numbers, and despite this, it influenced later Soviet tank designs, and it is often considered one of the most well-balanced light tanks of World War II. At number 3, the Panzer XXXVIII. This was originally a Czech-designed tank adopted and widely used by Germany after occupation, and it was armed with a 37mm gun, which was effective in early war engagements. While weighing around 9 to 10 tons, it offered a strong balance of mobility and firepower, and with a speed of about 42 km per hour, it performed well in fast-moving operations. Although its armor ranged up to 50mm, which was decent early on, became less effective against newer enemy tanks. Yet it played a major role in campaigns such as Poland, France, and the early stages of the Eastern Front, where its reliability made it a favorite among crews. Number 2, the M5 Stuart. This was an American light tank designed as an improved version of earlier Stuart models with better engines and reliability, and it was armed with a 37mm gun along with a multiple machine gun, which made it effective in reconnaissance and infantry support roles. While weighing around 15 tons, it was still considered light and highly mobile, and with a speed of about 58 km per hour, it could quickly maneuver across battlefields. Although its armor of up to 51mm offered limited protection against heavier tanks, it was adequate for its role. Yet it was widely used in North Africa, Europe, and Pacific, where its reliability and speed were highly valued, and it helped gather intelligence and exploit breakthroughs, and it became one of the most widely used Allied light tanks of World War II. At number 1, the M24 Chaffee. This was an advanced American light tank introduced late in World War II to replace the older Stuart series with a more capable and modern design, and was armed with a powerful 75mm M6 gun, which gave it significantly better firepower than most light tanks of its time, while also carrying multiple machine guns for anti-infantry defense and close combat support, and weighing around 18 to 20 tons. It was heavier than earlier light tanks, but still maintained excellent mobility on the battlefield, with a top speed of about 56 km per hour, allowing it to perform reconnaissance and rapid maneuver operations effectively. Although its armor reached only about 38mm, it relied on speed and agility rather than heavy protection, and it featured improved suspension and better crew ergonomics, which made it more efficient during long missions, as it first saw combat in late 1944 during the European campaign, where it quickly proved its effectiveness, and it was used in reconnaissance, infantry support, and even direct engagements when necessary due to its strong gun, ultimately becoming one of the most successful light tanks of World War II, and continuing service in many countries even after the war ended. That's it, guys, for today. Stay tuned because we bring you interesting videos from the world of military. Until then,